Hello everyone, welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series. It is Season 10, Round 7. We are here at Belgium, and hopefully my stream's working, because this definitely isn't the second time we've tried to get this to work, and it's definitely not the first time Jacko told me to make it work, because I definitely didn't go early the time before. This is potentially working, potentially not working, because it's the first time I'm on my PS4 for a good 3 years, and I haven't a clue if it will let me stream anymore. It's all connected to the internet, because I'm here in the lobby. But apart from that, I honestly couldn't tell you what's going on. But we are very much in the loading screen, and I can hear myself in the background, which must mean
it's
things
working.
are happening. Things are happening. Right.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt the introduction.
Yes.
I was just making sure you do.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Yes, because we are coming to you live from Hollywood for the first time since the Season 5 Championship 5. And more importantly, coming to you from the PS4, which you can't hear in the background, for the first time since Season 3, Round 16, where we were facing the collapse of the league in that famous race in Canada, where everyone crashed in the pit lane, and Jamie Wright rage quit the league, and he's not come back, in fairness. He won a championship or two, but he's gone now. And all sorts went wrong, but we're here, we've made it to F1 24, the PlayStation is still going. I'm your commentator, Owen Wyatt, who's still going. With me is Jacko, who's very much looking forward to getting this league over and done with. And, yes, it's a bit of a miracle we've got to this point.
Yes, good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to point out that when Owen Wyatt says Hollywood, he means Hollywood, Northern Ireland, not Los Angeles, California. For those of you that only know of the one Hollywood, and you'd be forgiven for thinking so. JACKOCAR Cup Series, Belgium. Where else would you want to be on a Thursday night? It's a fan favourite. You can tell it's one of my favourites because I'm even racing myself. That's how much of a good place this is. It's one of the few tracks that EA have managed to get right. I'm a big fan. Your thoughts, Owen?
Well, I'm very much a big fan of the track. I've come to the horrifying conclusion as I sit in the lobby here that I can't change the onboard car angle. So I'm just going to have to pray that this has carried over my camera settings from F1 24 on PS5, because this will look quite ugly if not. But at this point, take what you get, really. I should probably look at the qualifying order. I've spent too long figuring out how this thing works, and I'm not at any point
I'll tell you,
figured out anything out.
Is finally starting his first full-time season in Cup Series.
Finally.
You may remember Season 1 or 2. Did he come here and nab a podium?
I believe he was.
Memory serves me correctly.
I think in Season 1 he was part of the humongous pile-up at the top of the hill.
Yeah, and then he come back and took a P3 or a P2.
Oh, holy
frame
rate.
did.
Oh, the camera angle's saved. Right, well, you've got like 30 frames per second, but the camera angle's saved, so take what you can get. This is the high quality F1 24 PS4 edition. It looks horrendous. Oh my goodness me. Oh well, what can you do? But yes, he was involved in this humongous pile-up. The only thing I really remember from Nick outside that is Silverstone, I think, maybe last season, where he had loads and loads of pace and it just never really worked out for him. But then we got distracted by what happened to Pete that day. And, we sort of ignored it. But we keep saying that Nick has the pace to do something impressive. So maybe tonight's the night. We'll wait and find out. But, yes, we should probably mention Jokers as well while we are here, because ever since China I've been horrified to forget one and then end up calling them the race winner or disqualifying them. But look, we'll see what happens. We've got 3 Jokers: Quinn, Yuri and Arnaud. Arnaud, who you'd have to call the favourite to win this race. He's won here from P20 before. Surely winning on a Joker should be no problem. But from what I can see in the chat, it's going to rain in the race. They just don't know when. Do you know when? What's your game saying?
I know about as much as you, with a little bit of added information from the screen in the garage. And apparently 30 minutes in is when we're going to get a little bit of weather. It is a dry qualifying though, so the probably first 2/3 of this race will be dry, and then the latter half will be, or the latter third I should say, will be damp to moist, possibly even torrential.
Damp to moist, possibly even torrential. That really doesn't help us at all, does it?
I did my best.
as we see Nick come to the end of the first sector, braking at about 75 metres as you head through the Le Corne chicane. It's a lot easier to get through here now that the track model's been fixed, because there were loads of little, I suppose you can almost describe them as like virtual potholes. Nothing seemed to work properly around this track, but now they've got it all resurfaced, all properly made up, and the track is quite fun to drive now, even if the handling model is atrocious. And as someone who's been actually trying to play the game on the PS4 for the last week, this must be what it feels like for someone going from like a wheel to like a pad, because this feels awful on a PS4. Like, it's undrivably bad on a PS4. So I'm starting to sort of get an idea of how people feel about this game. So yes, I do have a little bit more respect for the people who are actually able to make this work, because yeah, it's just atrocious. I don't know how anyone could play it on this game. I think most, if not all, are great they were on PS5, so hopefully it's not an issue as we come through Blanchimont and towards not the bus stop chicane, but they couldn't think of a better name for it. Hits the apex quite well. Nick, it's looked like a pretty well composed lap this. It's been pretty much fully under control. I think you'd be relatively happy to get across the line at a 1:43.9. I would have thought the time will be beaten, but we never know. Let's see what happens. As who's up next? Is it Wes? I believe it is Wes coming up to the final chicane.
It is Wes, yeah. I'm pretty much going to leave you to it in this qualifying session, Owen, because obviously I'm sat in the garage, so I'm not watching the stream, and I've got to go and do a lap in a second. Yeah,
you've not put yourself in the Fast 5 this week, have you? I mean, you've just sort of put yourself
there was no
dying
space.
average. No, right, yeah,
otherwise
right.
I'd have been there, yeah.
Oh well, small victory for the rest of the grid then, because that was a horrendous graphic to come across last time. Just not true, is it? Maybe in the Kia series, but not here.
You know what, as well, I'm third in points in the Kia series as well.
That's what I'm saying. You stay in your lane, as Gareth would probably tell you. But
yeah.
Here comes Ben
Speaking
Shaw
of Gareth as well, he is celebrating his 100th not Cup Series, 100th JACKOCAR start tonight. It should be mentioned.
Yes, yeah, because we were getting on that topic of conversation, because after Jacko put that stat in the chat, it occurred to me I've never actually counted how many Cup Series commentaries I've done, because obviously I've been here since the start. Took a lot of races off from Season 7 to Season 9, and a bit more on form this season, barring the two that I've missed. Completely out of my control, it must be said. But anyway, I'm on, I believe, 118 Cup Series commentaries. I imagine Jacko's probably on more, although most of them these days coming from the cockpit. But yeah, it's just the stats we never. It's the stats that we never bothered to archive for some reason. We have all the drivers' stats, but as commentators, we just don't really count. I'm sure Gareth, he double times half the leagues at this point. He'll be here, there, everywhere. I'm sure he's probably getting up there, and you've obviously been there since day one. So get those stats made.
Yeah, well, this is my 15th Cup Series start tonight, and I know I've missed definitely 2. I couldn't tell you what race number we are, not off the top of my head. I can once I get back in the garage, though, if you're interested. But yeah, someone is going to be paid a lot of money to work out who has done the most commentaries for Cup Series.
Nice livery on Baz's car. It's very 2011 HRT, but he, like the 2011 HRT, hasn't got a time to qualify with as he went off at Blanchimont. But I will say, great, big, massive fan of the livery. But he's 16th, and he'll probably fall lower. So that's a bit of a shame. Makes a change from the Brawn GP colours. Not that I ever had an issue with those, but it's good to see Baz has got more than one trick up his sleeve. As,
if you're missing them, I'm running them.
Yes. I'm looking forward to seeing the Tesco value machine out there again, actually. We'll have to have a look at that
this week.
Oh, is it a Brawn this week?
Yeah.
Well, that is a big shame. That was the big chance to promote the Tesco Club Car Championship, which I will explain in a bit more detail at the end of qualifying and that sort of formation. It'll probably be a formational conversation as we watch OKK, because OKK is quite a long way behind Baz. I'm really hoping I've not missed someone who's doing a lap in between, but I think OKK is just a bit late to the party, so possibly the one after him will be quite soon after him, and it is a long lap here, I suppose. Oh, he cuts the bus stop chicane, does OKK. He was going to be slowest anyway, but I suppose on a long track we might well see bigger gaps between cars on out laps, as we do find Yori who, yes, indeed, has just come through the bus stop. I believe he's just cut it as well. He's got no grip on the exit. That could have been the fastest time. Instead, it's an invalidated time. No, where's Matt Rosemond? I hope that's not him coming through behind us. Not actually. He's a lot earlier on the lap. We're going to get to see most of it. Although I am also worried that Mr. O'Carr is about to start. I do want to catch most of that as well.
I'm coming up to what isn't the bus stop.
Yeah, do you know what? No offence to... Well, we'll see Matt come across the line. You've seen him on stream now, but I think, Jacko, it's a good time for you to talk us through that, if you don't mind. No pressure.
If I absolutely must, Owen. Of course, it's very, very difficult to drive and talk at the same time, so we'll do our very best as we brake heavy into T1. Of course, unlike the rest of them, who are all a bunch of pussies, I'm running the lowest wings of the lot, and it worked for me in Kia series when I nabbed a P2. But this is Eau Rouge into Radeon, and it's so easy nowadays, isn't it? I remember it used to be a little bit difficult on the old F1 games, but not anymore. Into the DRS zone, which brings you down the Kemmel Straight into a medium sort of braking zone. You just got to throw it in like this. Look at that, perfect. Never seen a driver quite like this, have you? This is turn 6, upper gear. This is where Kieran pushed Jake off a couple seasons ago. That was funny for everyone. Kieran went on to win that race. Off line through here doesn't make too much difference as we then throw it into whatever corner this is. I don't think there's a name for this one, is there?
I think there is one, but everyone just calls it no name anyway because it just sticks
That
better.
was the joke. Down a gear and then back up a gear as you get through what I believe is Pujon. I don't actually know the name. Someone's gone off in front of me. They must be rubbish.
They do call this one the Pith Path chicane now. It's a Chris McCarthy thing, I think. But every time he says it, I think that can't be what the real name is. But apparently that's the Pith Path chicane.
I wouldn't know that. It sounds awfully foreign to me. But that's the tricky bit of this lap done. It's pretty much flat out to the end, other than the not bus stop. There's Yori, who's invalidated his lap. He's rubbish. And Dutch. Well, actually, he's Belgian. Did you know that?
No, I did not know, no.
Yeah, no one cares anyway.
Absolute
But anyway,
fraud.
final heavy braking point, down to second or first, whatever you prefer. A little bit of a kick out there, but it's fine. We've tamed this beast, and this is going to go P1 over the line. Jacko. Oh, that's not too bad, actually.
It's slowest.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Anyway, back to Owen in the booth.
Yes, yes. Well, that's well. You can get yourself back to the pits to retire. And what's the rest of the session from here? As we have Jordan coming through next. We did see Pete Knighton cross the line in P5, and we did see Matt Roseman cross the line, having invalidated somewhere on his lap. But Jordan coming through in the top 10 of the qualifiers. He's having a decent season, really, isn't he? Almost on the podium in Azerbaijan last week, but that was only because of the penalty that was handed to Arnoud for the murder attempt on his ERT teammate, Corey. That's after the actual murder, and definitely not carnage-filled aftermath of Tony at turn 1 of the race, which part of me is quite glad I wasn't there for, actually, because that really did end up descending into carnage. But yeah, still strong performances from Jordan recently. P4 at the minute. He won that first race last season. It does feel like the floodgates have kind of opened because he has been generally quicker on this game than he has on others. So that's good to see. And good to see him up there today as well as Risky, another driver who we do see the odd flash of pace from. I'm waiting for Monza, really. If we have it, I'm sure we probably do have it somewhere on this. It's a very long calendar. It's got to be here somewhere. I'll be interested to see how he gets on. Canada as well. But here, Risky goes P5 just behind Jordan. And coming up next, Casper, who is, from what I can tell, still finding new ways to lose races. He's gone for sort of martini colours, but I know it's meant to be BMW, but I don't know. In F1, it tends to... well, I know, it's definitely BMW, but anyway. You can go on about martini if you want, but either way, he needs to have some pace. As Jacko does indeed retire from the session, and he can join in and watching. I believe Casper's even gone for something of a Schumacher-ish helmet, so I haven't actually a clue what the idea with this is. I could just be waffling. I tend to do that, really. I don't even get paid for it. I just waffle for the sake of it, you know what I mean?
You're quite good at it as well.
Yeah. That's just going to be way too fast. Oh, dear.
By the way, I've just noticed Nick Egan, P2 still, but he's a second slower than Casper, who... As you were saying just a second ago, true to form, qualifies well, but then finds a way to get disqualified or finish low in the points. He is secretly going for the chase, I'm sure of it, just like Gareth, who is on a lap, is he?
He is indeed.
Are we watching Gareth?
We are watching Gareth. Gareth, who...
Oh, sick.
Who, for some reason, has a proper livery on this week. Now, he promised us, as a protest to EA, who I'm a shill for, as a promise to us, he wouldn't engage in their other liveries and make sure he run the ugliest version of the default livery, but he hasn't done that. He's actually got a real livery on, so have EA slipped him a check, I wonder, as he comes through to the final chicane. He's absolutely obliterated his ERS. I haven't really been paying attention to other people, but that's the first time I've noticed it. Maybe he might be the first to have done it. As he goes P4, 1.2 seconds off the pace. And,
Good lap for Gareth.
Oh, Corey!
Big
My
moment.
goodness. How has he kept that facing in a straight line? And I thought Azerbaijan was stressful. Maybe you should explain a bit of Corey's Azerbaijan, since you were in the commentary box for it.
Oh, you make me think of the corner before bloody the castle section. Arnaud's move up the inside of Corey when it just wasn't on. He was so much faster. Arnaud had that race won. He just had to wait for the right moment to get past Corey. Instead, he makes a silly move, gets a 10-second penalty, and then ends up playing rear gunner for Corey for the rest of the race, eventually losing out to Jake on the final lap, and that's what put Arnaud third and Corey into the playoffs as he goes P5.
Here comes Leroy through the final corner. I'm due to play him in Jacko Ball after this race, assuming I don't field any more illegible players, which has cost me my title run already. As Leroy goes up to 4th place, not a bad lap time.
How many points are you on after last night?
I'm on 6 points out of the 3 games I played. It would have been a perfect 9, but I cheated. Didn't really affect the game, but Arnaud, not Arnaud. Well, we are watching Arnaud, but Gareth made up some silly excuse about Barnsley FA Cup. I just stopped reading at that point. I made up for my deficits. I atoned for my crimes, and I'm now gonna have to go unbeaten to win the league, basically. Keep your eye on that for Jacko Ball fans out there. But here's Arnaud, who's making the silly livery with loads of clocks on it look quite nice. I think the Belgian colours just make anything look nice, frankly. And it is, of course, his home race. He's on the Joker, as is Quinn and someone else. I forget. We'll check in a minute. As Arnaud goes, Yuri. As Arnaud goes second fastest. A 10th off his teammate. There's no wall to feed him into. Well, there is actually on the inside of turn, but you do well to get him into that wall this week, Arnaud. So just focus on going forward, I think, this time. Are we missing a driver?
Yeah, Ben Harrett, with his internet problems, has decided not to qualify, so he will start 19th, which puts us on to Kieran. Catboy. Even I remember it this week. Back on the Speed Kieran account, though.
Yeah, but
I warned him, actually. I knew this was going to happen tonight. I warned him that he should not be making any racial slurs under this account, because his one warning on it has gone.
I'm surprised it was just a warning and not just a flat-out banning. If they were so convinced he had committed such a heinous crime, they give him the account back. But, oh well, there's PlayStation for you. Some criminals just get away with it. And unfortunately, we get to watch...
he's done a Corey.
I was going to say, unfortunately, we get to watch his whole lap, but at least there we got to see another power slide through the pit path. I don't know why they call it that. I'm starting to think that might just be a general term for a chicane, because it is the final chicane, but every time I hear, I think it is Chris McCarthy say it on the commentary, it just sounds quite funny, because he always makes it sound really exciting. So, yes, the pit path. As we see Catboy going up to the final chicane, hard on the brakes. He does have some of his ERS left, but he's had another rear lockup, which has severely affected his time as he crosses the line. 2.5 seconds
I'm not the slowest.
It must be pointed out that Kieran is on a PS4, like me. Actually, I did just remember that now, which is probably why he's struggling so much, because as I say, the game is practically undrivable on here. And this is coming from someone who does quite like the handling model. It is basically impossible. As we see Jake then coming through with the loss of Khalifa, as we probably should mention now actually, has retired from the league. We did all this pre-stream, didn't bother to mention it, but with Khalifa having retired from the league permanently this time, We're looking for a new qualifying king. And no offense to Casper, but when he's put that many hours into the game, it'd be nice to see someone else do it. So Jake is the most likely other successor. He hasn't managed it though. P3, I believe that was.
So it's a Casper pole.
Yeah, I know. Terrible, isn't it? ERT12.
Once I get the stats going, I'll be able to tell you the all-time records. That's Casper's 8th pole position then. Jake, by the way, went P3.
Yes. We'll quickly run through the grid then. We've got 20 odd seconds. Casper, Arnold, Jake, Nick, Wes. That is odd, but not the first time I don't think he's ended up in that sort of position. Leroy, Gareth, Corey, Quinn on a Joker. Also on a Joker is Arnold. Jordan is 10th, Risky 11th, Ben 12th, Pete 13th, Jacko 14th, Kieran 15th, and then the guys who didn't set legal times: Yuri, OK, Gabe Bazza, Ben Harrett, and Matt Rosamond. Yuri, the other man on a Joker.
And as you mentioned, it is the second time that Waze has qualified 5th in JACKOCAR.
So we sit here on a dry grid, but we do expect the rain. I'm sure you can probably give us a more clear view on what the weather's going to do. You should be able to check.
You're asking me a lot of questions. Hold on, whilst I sort this out. It's lap 16, isn't it? When we
stages
lap
are lap
17 is when we compare.
Yes,
So,
stages are lap 4 and lap 16.
Soft, medium, soft, nice and easy. The weather is saying, you get 2, 4, 6, 7 bars at the top.
Correct.
It goes from sunny with cloud in the first 4, overcast 5 and 6, rain in slot number 7.
So are we gonna, for instance, see Arnold whack the hards on and try and go to lap 20 something, and then just hope it's wet enough for intermediates? Maybe Yuri will. One of the Jokers has got to try that type of thing. Maybe
and
Quinn.
It's going to come right at the end as well, isn't it? It's
and the thing
so a couple of safety cars will make it even worse for those that haven't stopped.
The thing is as well, this is obviously an extremely long track, so even if the rain comes on lap 20, there's nothing to say that by the end of lap 21, the track won't be absolutely saturated. This isn't like a super speedway, for instance. Not that it could rain there, but imagine it could, where it's such a short lap that 2 minutes of rain doesn't make a difference. But 3 laps of rain here is a good 5-6 minutes. So it is something that they've got to think about, because there'll be a lot of suffering to do on the tyres. Right, this is where I've now got to try and remember people's faces, because obviously I can't remember people's faces. I'm not even going to bother. The Tesco Club Card Shootout is back this season.
Okay, let's see how you get on with this. This will be funny.
I don't know who these people are. I always focus on the names. Every time the Fast Five comes up in the list, it's always a bit of a panic attack. I just sort of have to pray. Right, Leroy's against someone. No, I'm not going to do this to the drivers, because this is not going to be very offensive.
Yes, you are.
It's not. This is highly unfair for the poor drivers in the JACKOCAR Cup Series.
I can't help you because I'm driving.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wish I'd never mentioned it. The club cards. Who even cares about the club card shootout? What a waste of a series.
Well, generally the winner does, because that's 6 playoff points.
Well, yeah, that's the important bit. Yeah, that's
season.
all you really need to know, isn't it? Let's be honest. I'm trying to cheat by finding the championship standings, but all the pictures on there are rubbish. Right, so Leroy versus Nick. Right, that's one. That's one rivalry. I got that one.
Kieran just crashed in the background in my mirror.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I thought I must have got someone's name very wrong. Right, Baz is against someone. I know what Baz looks like. You'll never forget that bald head. I can't find the other guy's pictures. I have no idea who it is. Who is it? I don't know. Mike is versus Yuri.
Describe
I know those
him to
two.
me.
He's got hair. That's not Risky, is it? No, I have no idea who that is. Ben's against Gareth. I know who that is.
Yep.
Casper's against Quinn, who's on his Joker. Yuri's also on his Joker. We didn't mention him before. Pete is against... Fuck me, is that Jamie? Bloody hell, have a shower. Can't say that. Did say that, right.
So Jamie's not here, of course, so that's a
Yes.
bye.
I'm going to get slaughtered, really. Someone's going to be very offended. Jordan is up against Michael O'Kk, I know who that is. We all know who that is. I beat him in JACKOCAR the other day. Very exciting. And Michelle Gurry is against Corey. My goodness, that's a memory. That's a memory test I don't like.
Corey immediately advances because he's turned up, so nice and easy there.
It's just, you never think you need to know everyone's faces, do you? Until you do. Why can't you just put names on? Would have made my life a lot easier. But thank God it's a long formation lap. That's what they call torture in these lands. As everyone lines up on the grid. A lot of people on the right-hand side of the grid are pointing directly to the left. That's not a massive surprise. It's all about getting to the racing line for turn 1, but I'm sure that'll open the door for someone to throw a massive dive bomb in the mix. As we have some lights on here in Spa. It is Season 10, Round 7. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. Decent start there from Casper. Not as good from Arnold. He's already been overtaken by Jake. And into turn 1 we go. There are one or two moves up to the inside. Leroy's trying to move up there, and I believe that's Wes going through up into 3rd place. He's had a very good start up ahead of Nick, who's just following in behind, but side by side for Rouge. Oh, there's contact. And somehow, well, where has he gone actually? Wes might fall down the field a little bit because he definitely nicked his front wing off the back of Arnold's car, who's now going up to 2nd place. Is he going to go all the way to the lead? He's got massive overspeed there, but he's back past Jake, who's up to who's back down to 3rd where he started. Nick, in fact, the whole top 5 is the way it was, and wide there goes Wes. He's got Corey behind him. Luckily, it's not exactly Gareth, who's just 2 cars behind, but expect to see their battle resume as the race continues on, because they're dangerously close to each other, and surely Gareth will be eyes on him just to ruin his day, really, because he's Project Chase. Side by side, we got Ben being let through there by Risky. I'm almost certain that was a let through. Yeah. As Jacko, you have a chance to get past. I'm not sure he'd be as nice to you. In fact, you're being attacked.
He's not. Yeah, I got Pete right behind and Risky right in front.
Oh, what a move! How has he done that? How have you let that happen? Is he going to hit you?
I lost it.
Oh,
I lost
do you know
it on
what?
the exit, babe.
Respectful there from Pete not to just slam into the side of you. I was slightly expecting the dive bomb of all dive bombs, as Pete's running red, which is a really odd colour for him to be running. I wonder if there's a particular reason for it. Chases you down for just 13th place. Back up at the front, we've got Nick and Wes thinking about it, but that's opened the door up for Corey, who's gone right on the outside of the entry to the bus stop, gives him the inside for the second part, and up into 5th place. Yellow flag for a bit of an accident between, I believe, Kieran, Ben, Harriet. In fact, there's a lot really that's gone wrong back there. From Yuri backwards, all 5 cars back there have lost a good sort of 5 seconds, but they've all stayed out, so whatever's happened, they've all survived it. Now, DRS for Arnold, he's on the medium compound tires, one of only 6 drivers, so everyone else is on the softs. But with the DRS, Arnold will go straight through, and he takes the lead of the race. He'll want to get to the, well, he'll want to get to straight away to that sort of first stage point at the end of lap 4. He knows as well he could have a good chance at the second one when everyone pits around him, but on his Joker, leading the race, it's all going to plan so far. But Jake doing very well to hang on to those front 2, and Corey a little bit detached, but he got through on Nick on the DRS as well, so he may well be able to catch up too. And you'd be pleased to know that Gareth is all over the back of Wes, so I shall have updates whenever that goes. Whenever that goes skywards. Actually. But Jordan here, we've got him following the back of Quinn. Quinn, unsurprisingly, also on the medium compound tyres. Now Ben Harriet has been off at the exit of turn 9, and he's very much struggling to get back on the road. He's fallen way down. I know KK's gone off as well at Puon, and now Nick's gone off, and he's found himself on the inside of the exit of Stavilo, I think that is, as side by side with Pete, or Risky, sorry, that is. You've made a position up. I wonder.
Yeah, he's done that on purpose so he can overtake me on the Camel Straight.
I was going to say, I was wondering if he was letting you through there, because it's very odd for there to be such a big speed difference. But starting lap 3, Arnold, fastest lap. DRS will only be for Casper and Jake. Corey's 1 point. Well, actually, he's had a good turn 1, Corey, but no, he's not going to get DRS. And so the top 3, if I'm Jake, I'm thinking I can get through here into the lead, because it's so tight already. Or maybe he'll just sit back as Casper goes through. Jake will definitely get to second, but he won't get to the lead. But he now has put his car in between the two ER2 drivers. But I think Arnold's trying to fight back around the outside, but he has to run out of space and back off. Otherwise, he would have done a Rosberg and just knocked his front wing off. And that would be severely ideal for the Joker driver. And so Casper leads from Jake, who has to be says in a good position to get that first stage point, because surely on the DRS zone next lap he'll be able to get the move done for the lead. But I'm just amazed by the field spread already. I mean, we've got Jordan, by the way, all on the back of excuse me.
Oh, bless you, dear.
Thank you very much, darling. Right, on the back of we've got Jordan on the back of Ben Shaw, but I was going to mention the fact that behind you, Jacko, 8.2 seconds to Bata. Very bizarre. All sorts of issues at the back then. But they're all really looking at a safety car. And in all their incidents, no one's picked up any damage either. So it's just it's a weird one, this. But end of lap 3, I believe we can think about pit stops. I'd be surprised if anyone does, though. But let's see. As Leroy just sits on the back there of Reyes, who's got himself in between. Actually, Reyes has pitted. He's the only one who pits. I was going to say Leroy's put himself in between Reyes and Gareth, but Reyes has put the whole pit lane between himself and Gareth. And so that will be a fight to be fought later on. Now, back at the top of the hill again. I would have thought this would be pretty routine for Jake, and Reyes has put the hard compound tyres on. He's going to go long then into this race and try, I assume, to get to the rain. But here's Jake for the lead of the race, for the stage point. Down the inside he goes, and as long as he keeps this for the rest of the lap, Jake will pick up the first stage point of the evening. And let's see, there's a lot of stuff happening in the middle of the Lecombe chicane. We've got Ben Shaw, very slippy and slidey as Jordan got past him, and now he looks behind to see Quinn, who again is not going to want to risk anything too rash because of his Joker, and Risky will certainly want to take advantage of that. Jacko, you're sitting on the back of that, so you'll be able to see what's going on a little bit, but I would expect it to be somewhat stalemate for now. I wonder
if we're just driving in a train pretty much. It's just one of those DRS things, but it's all quite stable at the minute, nothing to worry about, no one doing anything silly. Good fun, I'm enjoying this.
I wonder if Casper's going to try and lunge here into the final chicane, or Arnold, one of the two, because they're too close to Jake here, and they know the stage point's on the line. I think Casper will say he needs it more, but Arnold's all over him. I know, but right outside of Blanchimont, there goes Casper. That's a brave move to make so early in the race. But what about Arnold? Three-way fight into the final chicane. They all are going for that stage point, and it looks like it's going to be Casper who wins it. Will Arnold take second place? No, VSC. So that puts Jake in the position to get back through on the next DRS zone. But Casper, I'm sure he'll celebrate that a little bit like a win, really. But, of course, that top 4 missed the opportunity to pit, which is what the rest of the grid has a chance to do under VSC. Where, Jacko, you can describe to me what happened to Pete.
Yeah, Pete just spun on the exit of where the start of Sector 3, basically. Just lost it all by himself, as per usual.
Same place as
not
where
my
Nick
fault.
lost it, I think.
Oh, yes, is that the other car that spun on? I was too fast to see him at the time.
Yeah, whatever. You lot have got a real advantage here by pitting now, because the top 5, obviously Arnold and Quinn couldn't pit because of their Jokers, but Corey, Jake, Casper, they've just lost a bucket load of time.
Well, me and Risky have come out in front of Waze, so where was he when it all
He was
happened?
fifth.
When he pitted?
He was 5th, so that's what I'm saying. You've got a real advantage here. And you could expect maybe on fresher tyres, not much of an advantage I suppose in pace when it's this early in the race, but it's worth thinking about. As long as the VSC comes in before the end of the lap, you've gained about 10 seconds in all the guys at the front, and that will help a little bit of the field spread, because a lot of drivers have been able to pit. Ones who haven't are Pete, who spun off and called to VSC, Ben Harrett. They're the only 2 non-Joker drivers outside the top 5 who haven't pitted. As we go green again, obviously Yuri, Quinn and Arnold will stay out. It makes sense. But yeah, so Jake, Casper, Corey, I would say, are losers here, as well as let's say Pete and Ben Harrett. But we'll see how it develops later on. I would have thought the front 3 had the pace to go for whatever they want, really, but it looks like Arnold... Oh no, sorry, it looks like Jake's actually Gonna go for the lead as he into the final chicane. They're all playing a little bit of chicken here, and his contact. Big slide there for Jake, who practically had to use Casper as a stopping
Ben Shaw off as well.
Stopping force as Ben Shaw. Let's see what's happening to him as he recovers back onto the track. But Casper was punted sideways into the final chicane. That's invited Jake to have a look there at Arnold into turn 1. But now Corey's into the fight. The top 4 are well clear of the rest of the field, but they all, apart from Arnold, like I say, have a decent disadvantage to the rest of the field based on the fact that they couldn't make a VSC stop. So this fighting might get a little bit more vicious as they realise they all have to basically bomb it up the straight and bomb it through the rest of the lap to make the gap. As Arnold gets back into the lead, Casper second. Has Jake got any damage in third? I don't see anything visually on the car, but it was a pretty big hit into the side of the Finnish driver's machine. And Corey, licking his lips there in the back, he's just waiting for it all to go wrong again, because they're all playing too much chicken, really, to mess about on the DRS in the back straight. You're better just driving flat out. The DRS is going to happen naturally. It'll happen every lap. You might as well use it to pull away. Don't slow down a second a lap over it, and certainly don't start crashing over it. As Gareth got himself there ahead of Leroy, and Gareth right now is genuinely sitting in a podium position here, net podium position. Obviously, Casper, Jake and Corey will probably be able to catch up and pass him, but that's not the point. For now, he's in the right place at the right time. He's got 2 drivers behind here on fresh hards. He'll be absolutely thrilled about that. And look at that. Leroy nearly losing the car, and that's going to help Gareth's case even more. He may even get outside DRS range, so we'll definitely keep our eye on him as this race continues, because for the man who's put the proper livery on the car, perhaps it's brought him a little bit of speed. He is, of course, the fastest member of Team Speed. There's also that as well. Let's see, back at the front. I don't think they've been mucking about this lap, which is good news for them, because it really was just getting a bit clumsy. It was 2 or 3 laps in a row they were at it, and it is going to end in an accident if they kept doing it. As up the hill we go. Casper taking quite a wide line on the way through Eau Rouge there, and another yellow flag for Okeke, who just cannot keep the car facing in a straight line. Another lead change. Casper back through. And let's say the man who got the first stage, he's looking to try and get most laps led as well. Just take everything you can to get his season really underway. Obviously, with Khalifa retiring from the league, that relinquishes his playoff spot, which does mean, since Jake has already been a repeat winner, it means that every other driver, all they have to do is win 1 race now. That's effectively what it means. Everyone if you just win a single race, you're through to the playoffs, and no Mavs need to be done. Because obviously it's a 12 race regular season, but with Jake being a winner twice and Khalifa, who won the first race, no longer participating, it means that we can only get 10 different winners. And so thank goodness for that. And I mean, to be fair, actually, I think it could still happen, haven't it? I think Jake is the only repeat winner this season, so
you are correct. Yeah.
And Casper's yet to win 1. Indeed.
Well, Casper's won 2 on track, put it that way.
Well, yeah. Indeed. Well, he's got to get on properly at some point. As Corey picks up a penalty, there's actually a few penalties to talk about, because Quinn has one as well. And into the pits there goes Casper. I hope there was no contact or anything there, because they were all very close. It was more if it was on Corey at that moment in time, who has pitted as well. But yes, penalties for Corey, Quinn, Ben Shaw, Pete Knighton, Wes Cooper, and then we've got Matt Rosemond and Michael Okeke right at the back, who also have their penalties to deal with as well. Now, in the pits, it looks like Casper's got a pretty massive gap now over Corey. I don't know if he actually took the penalty there in that pit stop, but he's lost a good 5 seconds, so I think hopefully for Corey's sake he's been able to take the penalty. If not, though, it's a very odd loss of time, unless he was stacking or something, but lost a load of time as Jake retakes the leader, does he? Arnold's fighting him here through the comms chicane, and he's held the position. Brilliant stuff from the Joker driver, who now wants to make sure that Jake cannot rack up any lead laps. It makes sense. These points are all vital when we get to the latter stages of the season. Corey came out just in front of Jacko in P9, but that is Gareth in P5 up ahead of him. And just behind Casper, frustratingly for Gareth, but he's still very much in play when all the leaders pit. I mean, he'll be there with them. So whether or not he can keep up is a different story, but we'll keep our eye on it. As yeah, Arnold finally having to get his elbows out in that lap has successfully held the lead, and I would have thought Jake might well just pit at that point because the tyre deficit is only going to get worse now. Oldest tyres out there on Jake's and the softest, which means they're the most worn and much less grippy than they once were. Now, Jordan is fighting with Leroy, or has Leroy been in the gravel?
Big.
I think Leroy's been in the gravel, and the front wine's gone on Yuri.
Safety car.
And that's a separate situation altogether. So do you? I don't know if you were too far away, but Yuri's
too
front
far
wine,
away.
I mean, I don't think he and Leroy were near each other. I wonder if that's just two separate incidents, but
I think Jordan may or may not have been involved in that as well, because there was a lot of dust all over the track.
yeah, well, Jordan's got no damage on his car, but that's not to say he hasn't been run into. The top three have been able to pit under the safety car. I know it says on the screen VSC, but you can see the wee yellow dot came out on track. That means it's safety car. Arnold's taken his pit stop. His Joker is over. He's gone from medium to medium, so he's anticipating the rain. It would have been a crazy idea not to pit. I suppose it's worth losing the Joker for track position in this situation. So Jake second, Casper third, Gareth in fourth. He'll be right on the pack. He'll be very much impressed with that. Jordan, he's possibly looking to go all the way to the rain on those hards, and he sits in fifth. Corey sixth, Risky seventh, Jacko eighth, Ben Shaw ninth, Quinn 10th. He could still finish his Joker. He's gone to hards. He'll be someone who's hoping the rain doesn't affect the track too much at the end. Wes 11th, Nick 12th, Kieran 13th, Leroy 14th, Bazza 15th, and side by side with Yuri, who no penalties on him. Quinn does have a penalty, but Yuri has no penalties, and he's on the hards, which means again he could get to the end and he could take advantage of being a Joker driver. Pete 17th, Ben Harrett in 18th, and then we've got Matt Rosemond and OKK still in the pits. And luckily everyone's done a pit stop, so it's pretty simple from here. Just everyone has one more pit stop to make. The ones who didn't make safety car pit stops will make them if they have a chance to. There's no point even trying to figure out who has and hasn't. I can't be arsed. The drivers know. The drivers know at this point. And even Castor probably knows what he's doing, because he's made that many mistakes that surely he would have learnt the rules by now.
Are you going to put money on him knowing the rules? No,
maybe not.
No from Owen Wyatt.
Let's be stupid here, you know. I'm not a gambler.
By the way, it's been such a nice race to drive. Like, really, really enjoyable. And I think you might be able to tell us a bit better. Everyone's in position, like officially.
Yeah, everyone's made their first stop. Everyone's having a lovely, easy time of things. There's a lot of penalties out there, though. I will again talk us through this because I feel like there's more than there should be really at this stage of a race. But Corey has 3 seconds, along with Quinn, Wes, Bazza, Pete, and Matt Rosemond. 6 seconds for Ben Shaw, 9 seconds for OKK. But that's 8 drivers already who have penalties. That could be a serious factor later on when we get the rain, which should be not accelerated forwards, but we're running slower laps. You know, if we were going to hit lap 22 in a certain amount of time under green flag conditions, well, thanks to the safety car, it'll be more like just on lap 21. It makes perfect sense, obviously. I don't know why I'm having to explain how time works. But the point is the rain that may have been scheduled on lap 20 could now appear on lap 19. As into the gravel there goes Quinn. I don't know what he was doing. He was just waving on the exit of turn 1, just decided to drive into the gravel trap. He didn't lose a rear end or anything. He just fancied a wee trip. And he had one. So, yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, but he didn't crash or anything, so just keep your head on here. Quinn, who we know can sometimes lose said head quite easily. So let's just hope he keeps it screwed on, because there's a very good result in this for him. And again, like I say, drivers to watch in the restart has to be Gareth and Jordan, just because Jordan, like I say, he's been showing the pace recently, and Gareth, he will do anything to lead a lap, as we've seen various times this season. He's now nowhere near Wes as well, which I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted. Oh, Wes into the wall! What's he doing? What on earth is he doing that for? As he weaves into the wall and doesn't do any damage, he just sort of sideswipes it. But what are these lot doing? It's like they're falling asleep at the wheel. And I've caught it happening
like
both times. That's incredibly bad luck for them, but tough luck, I'm afraid.
It's like Kia Series drivers on the loose, isn't it?
It's shocking, isn't it? Speaking of which, P8, I suppose quite pleased with this, really. Obviously, you know this track, I'd imagine, better than the rest. You've won here before, you've had a second so far this season. You're enjoying driving it.
Oh, it's so much fun. And I think everybody else has gone really, really conservative with the setups. I said in qualifying how my wings are 2-3. I don't think anybody else is as low as that. But I've got a lot of confidence around here. These guys are faster, but the confidence goes a long way. So hopefully we can get ourselves another top 10 this season.
Touch wood, what's your highest Cup Series finish?
P7.
I reckon that's achievable, really. We're nearly at the halfway point in this race, and the safety car is coming in. We have got all 20 drivers still out there, and we do, yeah.
Oh,
no one actually retired in that, right? And it's even rare to actually have 20 drivers. So thank goodness they're still here, as we watch Arnaud come through into the bus stop chicane. Very slowly. He sits in 5th gear though, so he's not really. He's just sort of chilling, really. Picks up a little bit more speed on the way through. Gets to the DRS line. Still hasn't gone. He's taking his time. He's away. And he's made a very good restart there. He's left Jake hanging back. And look at that. Side by side for Jordan and for Gareth already. Down the inside goes Jordan into the side there of who's that? Casper. And then he loses the rear end on exit. That
Risky
could have been the move for P3. But instead he's down. And that's a big incident for, as you say, Risky. I think it's too early for a second safety. No, it's not. Safety car has come straight back out. Nice. So let's quickly just, again, recap what happened there with Jordan. He dived down the inside of Gareth, but got it too deep in the brakes. Hit Casper's rear right tyre. So that shouldn't have done Casper any damage. I'm trying to see if it's done Jordan. Again, there's no visual damage on Jordan's car. So he might have got away with that. Corey got past him. So that's the only thing that's sort of hurt Jordan. He's lost one place. But Risky, did he just lose it on the exit, or was anyone hit him?
Yeah, but no, because I was directly behind him. He was already well clear of the initial acceleration zone out of turn 1, and he just lost it in the second phase. The rears lit up, and he went from left to right and into the wall, and out he goes. We'll see him next week in whatever track we're at.
Shall I look that up while we've got some time?
It's because you said we got 20 cars still running.
I know. I do apologise. Next up we are. Oh, Christ, we're in Monaco. We're not getting 20 finishers there.
Oh, I love it.
But, yes, so second safety car then. I don't really anticipate any pit stops. I don't think anyone's actually got any damage out there. It was very much a solo accident for Risky. And it just means we can have a little bit more time to sort of chill out and let the rain come to us.
Brilliant.
Which, I mean, the track is already starting to cloud over, as I'm sure you'll be able to agree with me on that, Jacko, especially going through this last sector. I
definitely agree.
So that's sort of coming a lot quicker than perhaps expected. But, well, I'm not going to complain about this. All I would say, though, is that your wings being as low as they are, Jacko, might... I suppose you can put them up in the pits, but it might pose a little bit of an issue at the rear for restart. We have got pit stops. Yuri is abandoning the Joker, and I would have thought there'd be a nice set of the red marked soft compound tyres for these guys, which would suggest this is not very long until rain at all. And indeed, all three, Yuri, Ben and OKK, are on softs. Has to be said, Ben Harrett and OKK need to do something to reignite their races. They've been behind for so long. But Yuri, that seems purely... He had I suppose even his race has gone a little bit to pot, hasn't it? So, all three of them looking to make some ground up before the rain arrives. Which
Yuri
means that Quinn...
with 3 race wins here in the Kia Series, by the way.
Yes, well, he'll be doing this on November 17th with half the race to go, but we'll see. Just confirming, that leaves Quinn as the only driver who can do a Joker to the finish. I know Arnaud has only made the one stop so far, but he went from medium to medium, or at least I think he did. I can confirm indeed it was.
He's allowed to do that. because if it's a rain-affected race, you don't only need to run the one dry compound, don't you?
But he would still have pitted twice.
Oh, has he pitted twice?
He's pitted from medium to medium. Whereas Quinn's gone from medium to hard, and he's onto the grass, and Jesus, Quinn, he nearly put it in the wall again.
But
what's
what
happening here?
Arnaud's only made one stop with rain to come.
That's what I'm saying,
He doesn't have to pit when it rains.
Good point. Although, looking at the skies, it does feel like he needed that to be a no safety car race, and he pitted under the safety car because if he'd stayed out, his then first pit stop could have well been waiting for rain, and then that could have left him vulnerable to attacks. So that's what I was saying. It was worthwhile abandonment of the Joker in this situation. But Quinn, he had nothing to lose, so he still sits there in 9th place. I think he's only got 3 seconds of penalties, so he can make something happen here. Although he does have a hideous livery, it's got to be said. Purple, green, and red. Even Kieran wouldn't come up with something that hideous. Even Frenagamo wouldn't come up with anything that hideous.
Wow. Throwback Thursday, even.
Yeah.
Remember that on Twitter, way back in the day?
I'm sure people still try and make it. Well, it's more like hashtag TBT now, isn't it? They can't even know saying it. Rubbish. Woke nonsense. Get rid of it.
Bloody rubbish.
Into the pits again comes all 3 of the back markers. I'm going to call them back markers because they're just the 3 back cars. But Yuri, well, what's happening here? So all 3 of them have come in from softs onto softs. Are you just going to keep doing this until the restart? I suppose nothing's stopping them from constantly putting fresh sets of softs on. The tyres do wear a little bit quicker around here, I suppose, if you're on a set of softs. I'm not going to question the strategy, I suppose, as long as they can get back to the tail end of the field, which they will. Just gives them as fresh a tyre as possible for the restart. Makes you question why no one else is really doing that.
Because what are, I think, 8-lap-old mediums, the worst tyre, front right, is 11%. There's no need to do it.
Yeah. I suppose I'm more fitting just for the guys in the second half of the field, where they might as well, try and find some way of gaining a couple of spots on what will be a long restart lap. But obviously, if you're in the top 10, it doesn't really make any sense to go for that sort of a risky strategy. As the safety car continues to trundle on here, it really does take it ages, doesn't it? Because of the the length of the track.
Good job you're good at waffling, eh, Owen?
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it? Do you get any sort of nerves at this point? Sitting in your equal best position, knowing the rain's coming?
In Cup Series, for myself, no. I'm more worried about taking one of these full-timers out and ruining their race.
I mean, it has to be said, these full-timers have been consistently letting you down all season. You have a grudge.
Yeah. I must admit, it's a good place to be, P7, which come at Silverstone in Season 6, the race that Cam won. But, no, I'm quite content, quite confident around here. Let's have another go at this restart.
Yes, safety car is in. The last little specks of blue have disappeared from the sky. It is all very much overcast and very much ready to think about rain. And I think everyone knows that around these parts is the Ardennes. It's the longest track on the calendar. Rain here is quite a big problem if it happens pretty much anywhere, because the track will be completely different from one lap to the next. It's such a massive sort of change in climatic conditions, which it's only possible when you've got a 7-kilometre long track. So this will test the drivers, and it will test the nerve of our home man, as Arnaud comes around the final corner. Decent restart once again. I don't think we're going to see any big dive bombs into turn 1 this time. No one's really close enough at the front. No one's really close enough anywhere, actually, as Corey goes a little bit wide at turn 1. Will that encourage Jordan to have a look? I think he's a little too far back. Like I say, everyone's been behaved this time, apart from at the back, where we've got Yuri, you've got Newgarden, Ben Harrett, OKK. They'll all be trying to make a move on these new soft compound tyres. At least Matt Roseman will just get swallowed up, I would have thought. Corey coming through on on Garth. That was a pretty easy move. The four-way fight at the back continues. And Newgarden has been shuffled all the way down. We're going to see Kieran somewhere off the road. There he is, recovering at the Lecombe chicane. He's down to last. And still struggling to get to grips with this game on the PS4. Which, like I said, I do sympathise with a little bit. But down the hill comes Arnaud, half a second ahead of Jake, the two-time race winner this season, chasing the man who's looking to win his home race for, I believe, at the very least the second time in JACKOCAR. And more yellow flags, and that is OKK, who's crashed. Safety car again. That's the thing that we could end up with here, and I really hope we don't, is the rain appearing at the end of lap 17 and everyone pitting, and that being the safety car restart lap. Actually, that could be a bit chaotic, but
oh my.
But it's worth thinking about, because the safety car, they tend to be out for 4 laps, and so that takes us to the end of 17.
That, by the way, that's all the safety car periods used, because the first physical safety car that came out was upgraded from VSC.
I feel like we've seen
So they
6.
are all
Did we
gone.
not see 6 safety cars before in one race? And we were all like, how is that possible? As
I'm sure we did.
Casper dives into the pits here, which I'm going to say nothing, because I didn't
get that.
I didn't bet on it. So it's going to be from fresh soft compound tyres, which I don't know that's the right move, because he can't take these to the end of the race. The second pit stop cannot be made until lap 17.
I don't get that move at all. What's he gone on to?
Softs. Kieran's pitted as well for softs.
The thing is, he's not going to make up... I assume he's come out last or around
He's
last.
come
So
out
he's not going to
16.
make up 15 places in 2 laps, is he? It's not happening.
And it's about to rain anyway, so you might as well
Yeah,
just stayed on the tyres you were on and pitted for the rain. But well, he's made his bed as the dullness continues to overwhelm this track, which is definitely a long way different from the way it was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The rain is obviously moments away. It cannot be more than a few laps. And Casper, for some reason, has gone and pitted for new softs. Even if he gets all the way back up to the front, it was a risk not worth taking, I don't think. Because he needs a lot to happen here for this to work out in his favour. Obviously, you'll not be too unpleased about that, Jacko. Moves you up another position.
I'll take that all day long.
I think Quinn won't mind it much either. He does have a broken front wing as Quinn, so I do wonder if one of his exploits off the track may have actually broken the thing, but he's still on for his Joker. I mean, he'd have to win really to get any big benefit out of it, but the fact he's in the running, as is the whole rest of the top 10, I mean, this is the problem that Casper has. No one in front of him has got any reason to pit. I mean, Ben Harrett and Yuri are in front of him, and they pitted on the last safety car to make places up, and even they haven't come in again. So, bizarre stuff. I suspect he might regret this move, Casper. I also hope, if it doesn't rain, which is quite unlikely, but if it doesn't rain, I hope he doesn't then just go to the end of the race and think he can do that, because it's so easy to get crossed wires on his strategy. You can't discount the fact he might have just miscounted his laps again.
I can do
Which
a
is
good
a
impression
new
of
problem
Casper.
for him. Which is a new problem for him, isn't it? Because he's been here for ages.
Hey guys,
but you've got an
do you think I
impression.
should pit before lap 17? Do you think it's a good idea? Anybody?
Clearly,
No?
well, this is the thing. There should be
That's what
ERT
he's
parties still going on, so someone must have, unless they just don't do them anymore, they could just not do them anymore. Yuri's pitted again, but he was already at the back. He can do this because he was already at the back. He's not pitted from second place or third place or wherever Casper was. So, I mean, what tyres are these going to be? Is it time to think about a very cheeky inters call? It is indeed. It's intermediates.
Oh.
And he is a Joker driver, remember, Yuri, so he can do this. He can go to the end of the race on these tyres. Nothing in the rules says he can't do it. I mean, if the safety car's
That
out
could
for another
be
2
inspired.
laps... If the safety car's out for another 2 laps, I agree, this could be inspired. Someone might want to get on the phone to Quinn, perhaps, and say, do you fancy trying this if the safety car doesn't come in at the end of this lap? But that's a bold call. I like it. I like that a lot. And like I say, one lap of rain here changes everything. I mean, if it starts raining at the start even of the restart lap, by halfway through that lap, Yuri will be quicker. So I'm a big fan of this. I mean, the tyres don't burn out like they do in real life in this sort of situation. And you're running at half speed under a safety car, so there should be no risk of him ruining the tyres here, Yuri, until the race restarts.
And of course, the drivers, myself included, cannot follow the safety car in. Otherwise, it's classed as non-mandatory. Here comes the rain.
And the rest of the field can't come in until the end of lap 17 at least. Unless, of course, you're Quinn or Arnaud. Will they think about it? Yuri's celebrating in the cockpit. He knows he's just given himself a massive opportunity to win the whole thing. And he's got no penalties, nothing like that to worry about. He only has to focus on his track position. Oh, he nearly into the back there of Newgarden. Christ, mate, don't do this to yourself. This is suddenly become absolutely ideal for Yuri.
I think there's one racing lap.
Safety car's in this lap.
That means there's one racing lap in this.
One racing lap, and the whole field surely be into the pits. I'm sure Yuri was slightly hoping we'd get one more safety car lap, but I don't think he really cares. He's in a massively advantageous position. I mean, Arnaud, to be fair, the Jokers could follow the safety car in, right? It doesn't really affect them.
Yes, that is correct.
So, yep. I mean, we could still see Arnaud crawl in.
There's a stage point at the end of this lap as well, don't forget.
Very good point. Very good point indeed.
But what's more important to Arnaud? A home race win on your Joker or a single stage point?
Well, this is the thing. This is what he's going to have to think about.
You've got to go for it if you're Arnaud, haven't you? You've got to.
Meanwhile, Casper's down in 15th. What on earth have you done that for? It's what you've got to ask. I'm sure the question will be asked, but what on earth were you trying to achieve with this? I mean, if it works, it'll be by pure luck, nothing else. So that means it's Arnaud, Jake, Corey at the front. Arnaud does take the final corner. They all take the final corner. It's a wet restart here in Spa, and they're all on dries except for Yuri, who's looking to win for the first time this season. He hasn't won a race since, what, Austria in the Cup Series, it feels like, or maybe Silverstone. It's been a very long time, regardless. As Quinn on his Joker already gets past you there into turn 1, Jacko. But here comes Jake.
Yeah, poor restart.
No DRS on a restart, but you may not get DRS for the rest of this race. Let's see if Jake can go for the lead here. Arnaud had that stage point, and Jacko, you've got yourself healthy, but I mean, half the field do.
No grip up Bradion at all. It's gone. It's time for wet Owen.
Jake doesn't get the move done for the lead. That could be crucial. We'll look at how that turns out later on. Let's go and see. Oh, all sorts happening in the common chicane there as Baza has to go off the road. Casper's up to 14th place. Yuri's not really made any grind up, but he doesn't really have to, does he? He just has to keep his nose clean, protect the tyres. You'll lead this race soon enough. I think the dries are still quicker than the intermediates at this stage, because Kieran is all over the back. But Yuri, you just have to keep this thing on the road. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. As Pete up into 12th place, your grip certainly does seem a lot less than the rest, Jacko, has to be said.
It could be set up as well, don't forget.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be those wings you were running, yeah. Might not be helping too much in the grip department, but I'm probably talking about you too much, because here's all the rest of the field for you, as Jacko has his own issues to deal with. In fact, let's see if anyone goes to the move into the bus stop chicane, because it is... Oh, it's going to be a freeway scrap into here. Surely Jake thinks about throwing his nose up the inside. No, and Corey doesn't either. He pits. Arnaud stays out. Corey stays out. Gareth stays out. What on earth? Look how many are staying out. The DRS is enabled. The game thinks it's dry enough. But I think Jake might have made a big move here as he goes surely for softs. He's gone for the soft compound tyres. Wow, interesting stuff then. That's a very bold move for Jake then. Soft compound tyres for him. Here is Nick also in for the softs. Will this work out? What's the better tyre? Jake's come out.
Penalty.
Penalty for crossing the line. But Jake is right on the back of oh, where is he actually? Where actually has Jake? He's back on. He's nowhere near Yuri. He's nowhere near Yuri, and the rain's only going to get heavier. Yuri's up now into 13th place. Kieran's still following along, but Yuri's kept this thing on the road. He's looking good. as Waste gets absolutely swallowed up here by Casper. And Casper, in fairness now, he's back up to P9. He is making some of the grind up. The rain is still sort of semi-light. It's not ideal, as Jordan goes past Gareth and up into third place. Good move from him on the hard compound tyres. They must feel absolutely horrendous around here. Let's see Arnoud's split time as he heads through the middle sector. This will give us an indication as to what the track conditions are like. As he comes through the middle sector, he's only lost a second. The track's not that much slower at the minute, but there's still 4 laps to go at the end of this one. The rain could get heavier from here, or it could stagnate. Let's see what happens. They all have to make another pit stop in this race, apart from Yuri and a few of the guys behind him. So we will see. Decisions have to be made. And hopefully, let's say, Casper does remember to pit as well, as we watch him trying to fight against Waste there through Blanchimont. Let's see Arnoud. He's kept going. Corey, Jordan, they're all still going, Jacko. Everyone's continuing. Leroy into the pits, but he's hit the wall on the way in as he broke the front wing, as he follows his brother's advice into the pit lane. I'm sure he's probably been told something. But what colour are the tyres going to be? Are we looking at red? Are we looking at green? It's another set of the softs. But you know what? With every pit stop, Yuri is still passing these guys. So even if he may not be on the ideal tyre, he's got track position. And Jake may be catchy, but he's got a 10-second penalty. As we see Gareth move back up into third position. Ahead of Jordan. This is a fight that keeps changing halfway. Now we do have some drivers onto inters. Wes, Casper and yourself, Jacko. You have been there for a while, but you've not really made much of a difference yet, have you? But let's see if the warmed up tyres will help you. The rain does look heavier on this particular lap, it has to be said. As you go round the outside into Eau Rouge there of Matt Rosemond. Oh,
DRS
Jordan!
Still available.
Jordan all over the back there of Arnoud. This is treacherous. It's absolutely treacherous. As Jordan, where's the gap going to be? Does he fancy it? No, he's not going to go for the move. But Gareth has got so little pace right now. Arnoud for the middle sector. He's now over a second down on his pace. That is an indication this is getting wetter, and it's only going to continue to do so. Jake has got through. Oh, off goes Kieran, spinning through the gravel trap. That doesn't distract Yuri, who has been passed by Jake, who does have a 10-second penalty, so you can almost discount him. Jordan and Gareth are still side by side. They're having a titanic scrap, and it's going to continue all the way to the bus stop. Is it a race to the pits? The top two? No, Corey only. Corey's pitted, and Gareth stays out. Jordan's in as well. What on earth's going to happen here? No one knows what they're doing yet. There's still drivers out here who have to pit. Arnoud has to pit. He is on a joker, but he's gone for the same set of tyres twice. Corey onto intermediates. The
That's
rest
legal.
of the game won't let you finish a race on one compound. The game won't let you do it.
It's rain affected.
Not in the past. This is important. Corey's coming out of the pits. He's beaten Yuri out of the pits, but he has a penalty. So, is the 3-second penalty? Is it 3 seconds? We're going to have to definitely check that. 3 seconds. So, if Yuri can stay within 3 seconds and his tyres are all warmed up, this could still be massive for him. No more safety cars to go. Oh, this is tense. Oh, what are he going to do here? Baz is still out there on 15-lap-old tyres. And he's holding up Jake, who'll hold up Corey. Jake's got to get through. Round the outside, he has done. That could be massive. He'll do something to make the 10 seconds up, but he's going to have to do something here. Yuri, 1.1 behind Corey. This is perfect for him. Jordan, he obviously did pit on that last lap. He's only 4 seconds behind Yuri. Keep your eye on him. He could still factor in for the win here today. Now, where's Arnoud at? He's 2.7 seconds down this lap. Almost certainly, Corey will have undercut him. But Yuri's within a second now, because Baz has held him up. He's held up Corey. He's hit Corey. But Corey gets through. Oh, this is tense. This is tense in ways that Yuri must be absolutely hating right now. And the track looks so undrivable at the moment. Baza, will he get in the way of Yuri, or will Yuri just get through on Blanchimont? Let's see. Arnoud pits. Gareth, I would have thought he'd probably try and get his lap led. He's going to keep going. And he will. Well, he had to make his pit stop on this lap. That's the problem. I don't know if he'll actually lead the lap, but he leads the race. Does Arnoud. Now, here's one for you, Jacko. if you're Quinn, who's just taken the net race lead on your hard compound tyres, can you survive 2 laps? He has got a penalty, which makes this a lot more difficult. He's got a 3-second penalty. Arnold's come out just behind, but Quinn's on for a podium here as well. And Yuri will have to do something to catch him. So there's a lot to think about. The strategies are all over the shop. Arnold is ahead of Jake, so the undercut, I think the intros are still slower. I think through all this, the intermediates are still the slower tyre. As Gareth leads. He's on 16 lap old tyres is Gareth, so he can't win this race. But if the dry tyres are genuinely slower, or dries are genuinely faster, sorry, then Quinn could win this race. But he's only 1 second ahead of Arnold. He needs Arnold to pick up a penalty, but Arnold is catching him. Yuri is currently now 5 seconds behind Jake. So, I mean, Jake is also doing the right thing. What on earth? What's going to happen here, man? This is all over the place. Azerbaijan, it felt a little bit like this season really kicked up a gear. And here in Spa, it's gone up yet another gear because the damaged car of Quinn is fighting for his life. He's fighting for the victory, but he's holding the whole field up. And this is going to be chaotic stuff because now Jake, if there's any way from getting that 10-second penalty removed, he'll try. But he's now sitting on the back of this. He looks up the inside of Arnold. He gets past Arnold. Surely there's contact. Oh my goodness. Off the road goes Arnold. Off the road goes Quinn. Quinn picks up another penalty. Down the inside goes Jake. Into the pits goes Gareth. Will Gareth lead the lap? We'll have to keep an eye on this one. And there's 1 lap to go. Not sponsored by Credit One Bank. No point getting you to say it, Jacker, because I'm going to keep talking. This is going all over the show. Through goes Arnold. Is he going to get fought back? This is fantastic stuff from Quinn. How is he finding the grip? But he finally loses the position. Now, where's Yuri at? He's 2.7 behind Corey. But what's the gap to the lead of the race? The gap, I don't know. I really don't know. It's 6.8. But he's got to get closer. I think he's got to get closer because you know what? Jake, he might make the 10 seconds on him, but what about the rest of the field? Arnold, obviously, is fighting for the win. And Yuri, I think he's more looking at second place, really, unfortunately for him. But let's see. If Arnold ends up in a wall, if Arnold ends up in an accident like last week, he could lose his home race. But let's see. As Quinn holds on to the back, he's praying for the accident. You'd see scenes in the chat you've never seen before if these front two come together with Quinn sitting third place and looking to pick up the pieces. As Jake, on the wrong tyre, surely for this phase of the race, leads Arnold, who is on theoretically the right tyre. Will Arnold go for the move, or will he just be sensible? You'd think he'd be sensible in this situation. He will not get the bonuses that a Joker win gets him because he has made 2 stops. But, he's almost into the back of Jake. I think Quinn is willing the accident on. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Yuri's completely fallen off on pace. I think his tyres may be starting to run out. Kieran gets yet another penalty in this race. But here comes Arnold. All over the back of Jake. Round the outside of the bus stop chicane. Are we going to see any contact between these two? The move's happening. The contact's happening. They both keep it on the road. Incredible. Yuri's put it in the wall right at the end. But Arnold, at his home race, takes the checkered flag. And Corey takes second right at the end, ahead of Quinn. Fantastic stuff for the man on the Joker. Jake ends up 4th. Jordan 5th. Gareth 5th. Thanks to his penalties difference. Jordan 6th. Nick 7th. Ben 8th. Ben shot 8th, Leroy 9th, Ben Harrod, having had a horrible race, ends up 10th. Casper will be kicking himself once again in 11th. Pete Knight in 12th, Waste 13th. Baza will shuffle down to 15th, so that'll be Kieran 13th, Waste 14th, Baza 15th. Jacko, I don't know what your penalties are like. Are you going to be last, or will
No.
Yeah, you beat
got,
Matt Rosamond.
Matt Rosamond at the end there. That sounded fun.
It did. It was fun. That was basically like a 20-minute long sentence I just had to do there. For goodness sake. What a race that was. My goodness me. The thing is, right, I'm sure that probably confused a few people watching because it felt like the net race winner of that kept changing every 5 seconds. Let's say Quinn was praying for something to go on at the front, but to get a podium on those hard combine tires, we suggested he could try it. He did try it, and he made it stick. He could have been second, but I think he had more. We had one more penalty than Corey, so Corey picked up the second place. But Arnaud, he had the right ideas, really. He probably led the most laps as well. So this has been a very, very good day for the home man. His first win of the season, we believe, as well, having had the catastrophe in Baku. So it's a good place to get his season properly underway. But to confirm the provisional order, because I don't know if Jake will find any way of getting that penalty taken off, I'm sure he'll try.
If he crossed the line, that's an infringement, so it will stay.
I tend to agree with that, but we'll see if he tries to say anything. I'm hoping some results pop up on my screen. All I've got, sadly, is a black screen. I might not actually get to confirm results to you here.
Luckily, I got them.
Yeah, no results for me. That's a real shame. But well, I did call them as they came across the line. So hopefully, the top three, we know them: Arnaud, Corey, and Quinn. We know that much.
Followed by Jake, Gareth, Jordan, Nick, Ben Shaw, Leroy, Ben Harrett complete your top 10. And then the rest of them, starting from Casper in 11th, then Pete, Kieran, Waze, Bazza, myself, and Matt Newgarden, Matt Rosamond in P17. The retirements were Yori, OKK, and Sullivan Lewis, who lost it by himself.
Yes, and I tell you what, the driver seemed to enjoy that one as well, I think. Shame about your race sort of falling apart towards the end, but I guess that meant you could enjoy listening to what was happening at the front a little bit better.
Yeah, on that final restart, I had a poor restart and then never regained basically the tyres were cold. I focused on having hot brakes rather than hot tyres.
Right.
Never recovered it, so I thought I'll do a Yori, go onto the Inters, and then it was the wrong call. The what do you call them? The dry tyres were the fastest tyre all the way for the rest of the race until the final half a lap, and that's why I was able to get Matt Rosamond with 2 corners to go.
Right,
so yeah,
well,
wrong decision, but it was very enjoyable to drive, as Spa always is.
Well, I would say definitely to watch back what happened at the end there, because it was very exciting. Basically, it was a lot of madness going along, but it was quite exciting to watch. And I'm just hoping the stream seemed to catch it all quite well as well, which is nice, because I was worried for a bit that we weren't going to even get a stream today. With 10 minutes to go before the stream started, I went into the party and all it was echoing. So thank goodness we got all the teething problems out of the way, and we got a pretty damn good race at Spa. I would expect, frankly, the opposite in Monaco next week, but who knows? Maybe they'll impress us. It's a shame it's not a high stakes Monaco race. That's the problem. If it's high stakes, they just forget how to drive. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. Season 7 started with multiple airplane crashes, and that wasn't really an important race. So we'll see. Monaco happening. Do you reckon you'll race in that one, or do you think you'll take refuge in the commentary box?
I like Monaco, but these Cup boys are too fast for that. So I will commentate that one myself.
Sensible decision. I'll be there as well. So thank you all for being here tonight. I hope I remember how to close a stream on PS4, so do bear with me. But I will say all the safe travels stuff. And thank you all for watching. It was a good time. And see us from Monaco next week. Safe travels. Take care.